out them language. Of course, there's absolutely no question about it.
So it sounds a way then that we have such reverence for Marcus Garvey and that he created this organization called UNIA in 1920s. And I'm saying now that in the 2015, the organization seems to be dormant, even in a place like Jamaica. I'm saying perhaps part of that dormancy is connected to the name that a youth in this point in time, a teenager, youth under 25, to be associated with an organization called United Universal Negro Improvement. I'm not so sure that is so attractive, you know. But I think if that you was to be addressed in a way that them think the organization was an African organization, it might resonate more with I think.
You see the UNIA,
Yeah.
it I think that let us say that Marcus Garvey was operating now. He wouldn't put Negro in it, you know.
Mm.
He would have gone all the way back to Africa. But he's a back to Africa man, you know. Is the situation is that the time of the UNIA has literally gone.
Mm-hmm.
Even the name Negro Improvement.
Yeah, what that really mean no?
Yes, it's because that not really a go on. Is we into going into 500 years we don't here now. And a man can look, you know, and him say, yes, the city built out of concrete. Them have airport and them can show you the massive gains in communication. But at the same time, you're talking about a people hedged in by the said same system of governance that carried us through slavery. There has not been a change of the system of governance or control of the workers on the plantation. For the plantation are gone.
Let's be.
And the same people now who are being underpaid and overworked by the same system of governance that was in slavery, that is presently now claiming not to be associated in any way with that system of governance. But what those people would have to do, you know, is they would have to show Rasta the point at which upheaval took place and the government system changed. It never changed.
Never changed.
And so you see the same whip that the present government workers are under are the same whip that Bucky Master did have in him hand. I beat them in them back. I pay them slave wages at that time, which was cat o' nine tail in them back.
Whipping out eating out of the flesh.
Yes, I. Now in this time, them using the evil of money, the good of money, the whatever of money. For Iman don't so sure of what it is.
We know the effect of the lack of it.
It is terrible and dreadful.
Yeah, that
even
is what I know for sure.
And what else Iman is sure of is the terrible danger of massive quantities of it falling into the hand of any one man, black or white. Because the man suddenly get inflated and balloon out. And it's like, say, the weight of the kinds on top of him head. You know, it compress him brains and him can't think clear. So him don't ever see him brother again once him have the bag of cash. At the point that money is introduced into the equation, The government of this country is now offering the workers 5% after 5 years of holding strain.
Well, hold on. When you hold strain, that not cause constipation and them thing there. And all kind of, when you hold strain, what that really mean?
Well, it caused the constipation and it caused...
All kind of ailments.
Yeah, because you said same constipation is the foundation of all physical illnesses. So the people them is in a very bad condition after 5 years watching politicians drive past. Now remember, now you know, the politician them where drive past, them man they not even supposed to ride donkey pass. Because remember, you know, we are talking 1962, and them get the reins of governance. The same reins of governance that Henry Morgan
and Governor Erie,
yes,
and these guys had.
Them get it from 1962. And if you check for them generation, that is their direct heirs and successors, what you're going to find is that those people are very well off. Now, can you show me an equivalent nation that they have built out of the upbuilding of for themselves? It cannot be done. But the man them is so sure of their greatness and their glory. Them dress just like how you would have said the white man dress. In fact, sometimes you'd all think him is a white man.
Yes.
The way him organize himself and maybe the way him bleach up himself. And maybe him all go into the parlor of shame where he might do him. Look here, no man. The situation is not short of a crisis.
The situation is critical. Sounds of Augustus Pablo chanting to Haile Selassie.
Styles FM, you're my number one.
Styles FM presents Fan Fusion Party Episode 2. Retro Gunyan, the deadliest retro music party event of the year. Styles FM.
Ticket outlets for Fan Fusion Party in Portland, YK's Pharmacy, Upstairs Singer, Port Antonio, Zilla's Kitchen, Bridge Street, Port Antonio, Sippin's Burger in Prospect, Port Antonio, and Shoppers Pride Supermarket, Buff Bay, and in St. Mary, Hair Dazzle in Notta Bay, Bob's Super Center in Notta Bay, Champy's Restaurant in Highgate, Banz's Electronics, Port Maria, and Miss Brown in Wallingford.
Hey, are you ready? You ready? All right. All right, let's go. Do you know what time it is? Do you know what time it is? Yes, it's on a Saturday. Every Saturday morning, live on Styles 96.1, the People Station. Here's an invitation to join yours truly, Colin Anthony, the man with all the money, honey. The program is called Smooth Sailing. Every Saturday morning from 9 o'clock until 1 on the p.m. It's gonna be on Styles FM 96.1. Have you got a plan? Oh, you got a plan? We've got a plan. Do remember to join us. Smooth Sailing.
Are you ready for the time of your life?
Do you have or are you seeking a place to rent, seeking employment or have a job vacancy? Are you selling a car or having a garage sale? Then come see us. Let Styles do the advertising for you and you'll be on your way in no time. Contact us at 876-286-9216 or 439-5160. Advertising Style. Advertise with Styles.
With Styles FM on the go, you can listen to your favorite programs by calling the USA number 213-992-4360. If you're in the UK, is 033-0010-3322.
African Liberation Day, May 25. We still have a lot of Negroes running around claiming that they are British and psychologically and mentally paying homage to the Queen. There are also a lot of people running around calling them Negroes who believe that they are on an island and the binding force that keeps the people together is the motto. The motto that says, out of many, one. This is a very serious line that has been created because a motto is an important and a powerful sign and sound and symbol. Makonnen, you the giant Cub Scout, you was a Cub?
No.
They never put you through the Cub and beer business?
No, I watch them though. I watch them from a distance.
All right. But you know about motto, because you always have some organizations that have the motto.
Yes.
And you must kind of memorize it and recite it. But at a certain level now, what do you think a motto really mean to a person? Why do you think them create them thing you call a motto? Because them dead there, you know.
Like the motto would have been the lead opinion.
The lead opinion.
Are the philosophical override of the organization. So when you hear the motto, same time you know exactly what that organization is about.
All about.
Yes. That is the philosophy that ride over that organization.
And if you notice now, nearly all schools, for example, have a motto.
True.
No, the school whose motto influenced me was a motto that said the brave shall fall but never yield. And that particular motto now kind of make people in the island think the students that went to the school were really bossy and arrogant.
True, because you can't say for them action now.
Yeah, you know, so I know that mottos are motivating. They're supposed to be motivating, inspiring. All right. So for the island plantation now, them decide for emancipate and apprenticeship out the place now. So when it comes to the philosophy now, Makonnen, to hold all of these descendants of slaves together with this very small minority, remnants of the planter class, that continue to control. Waiting, the man will come for it. I mean, I'm not saying that saying you don't know, you know. But to protect themselves, they have to be thinking about their own self-interest. What you say?
Yes, by the very nature of survival, your self-interest come first. So naturally you tell the people them, out of many come one people.
This is the minority talking to the majority, you know.
Yes, indeed. Because them is the governance.
Them is the governance.
Yes.
And them will tell I know the black majority now, say out of many.
And then the black man them start to look around for the many races of people.
Yeah.
Because true African is about 98% of the total population of this country. Them never really see no different whole heap of race of people except for the Indian and the Chinese.
Yeah.
And always in a one little corner squeeze up by himself, the white people them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for them corner, even though it's squeeze up, you know, it's nice, bad.
It neat.
Truly.
Yes.
Some of them corners you can't even go up there.
All right.
It's through those corners that they maintain the society under slave labor. Because you see, in a for them corners, there is no such thing as slave wages. For them wages is equivalent to those wages in North America, in England, and the rest of Europe. It have nothing to do with slavery. So the monetary rewards earned in those countries is real life. Down here in Jamaica, the poor people them have to always be running to those places that is free of slave labor wages, because the wages paid down here is equivalent to what would normally be paid on a plantation. So right here now, the said man them will run the place from the time of independence until now. Enough years. All know them no figure out how to turn the plantation in a money spinner. Till them have the people them by the throat now out to give them 5%. Listen to me, it can't work. But remember though, you know, Iman is reasonable.
Yeah.
And Iman see that the poor government under Mr. Phillips and Miss Portia, them having a hard time with the IMF. What did I did call it? International what?
Monetary fiend. Well, I tell you, I know. You see, the present administration,
Yes.
obviously they have inherited what them brethren set out from the early 60s.
Yeah, man, as you saw.
You know? But the point is now that because our population has become more exposed to how the world operates to information, our population now beginning to question some of the conditions that they have to be living and working under. Enough of us traveling and going abroad now and realizing, say, things can be run in a more organized, there can be more discipline, there can be more order, there can be more law. So what we find now on this plant is that there's a small group that is outlining how the majority should live, what the majority should eat, while at the same time the small group have access to all of the resources. Them can travel in and out of the country. If them sick, them don't go to public hospital, them just jump on a air taxi. So the disparity now has increased. And when an organization like the Jamaica Teachers Association now, when they say they're going to take a hard line, you must know so it get rough. Because I want the softest group them that in the whole
the
plantation.
JTA.
The teachers.
Because listen, you have to understand the nature, you know. If you reach the high and lofty status of teacher in this, the land of slavery, you have been chosen by the master to impart his greatness to the people.
Of course.
You cannot be the one who is vociferous and antagonistic,
And challenging.
challenging Babylon society.
No,
You cannot
no,
do that.
no.
But now Babylon force the people them, put
Yes,
them in
man.
a corner.
Why, man, tell you.
And look here, you see, if the teacher them out for fight,
Yeah.
I want big fight, you know.
And you see, there I know.
Yes, because remember, say them know everything about Babylon, you know.
Yes, yes.
Is use them, don't use it, because Babylon always squeeze out just enough to them.
Yes.
So them can take care of them responsibilities, them can grow up them family, and them can from time to time take a trip.
No, all of those, the trip gone.
Yes, the trip.
The family can't. The
family
family
are
feel
mash
it.
up.
Yeah, the family are feel it. And individually, they not see no progression as a career. You see, the teachers now. The teachers are being conditioned to be guilty and to owe the society and the owners of the plantocracy to continue to produce more qualified workers. To the point where the teachers will tell you that they are afraid to make the students fail. The nurses will allow some of the people to die. And the doctors will also make people die when them taking industrial action.
Yes.
So there's a...
Well, them kill the people them anyway.
All right, well, I know, but the people them dying anyway, you know.
See.
What we notice that within the education, there's a guilty complex built in. That it reach a point where it look like it buck now. When the teacher might probably say, no, them no business no more. And if other people begin to get this attitude towards the nature of the governance, it don't really make sense. We just have a kind of... we can't have a riots, you know. What we really need is some understanding of the nature of the governance. Other thing really organized, that people can move in a conscious way. So, to Marcus Garvey again.
Yes.
Because Garvey was promoting a political party that would benefit the 96% who were black people. It appears as though the 4% now who were non-Africans had their own ideas. And out of that group now, them form for them two party.
I want to tell you, say them never have them all ideas, Rasta.
Well, I mean, in terms of... Go through.
The two party where them form is the same two Buckingham Palace party. Labour and the National Party. If you go inland now, you know that go on. It was going on then, it is going on now. Into every island of slavery. Go in there and see if you know see two political party. What England do is simple. Them choose two men to set it up in the island. Those two men fight against each other. And out of the struggle you have the Labour Party or the National Party.
When you say fight against each other, is an organized fight? I don't know, violent fight or
no, it's an organized fight because the nature of politics is that you have two contending forces.
Right. I just want to clarify that because we in the island feel like the fighting now doing man, we supposed to take up stone and throw when them man then after that.
Well, watch I. We think say you have to throw a stone and you have to put rope around people neck and you have to kill them. Because it's that them used to do to we. So once you hear say fight, you know say somebody are go dead. So you see when it comes to the European them man there's a set of man that then we kill people man and then we kill them one another easy because that is how for them culture run. But you see the governance, the governance day to day of the state, them don't physical fight in a that.
True.
Them sit down around conference table and then work the thing out. Once them establish that thing that them work out as law, that is when the killing begin. Because if a man think him can broke the white man law, him will be broken and killed by the said same law. It is that said same law that has been upon us from the time we come here and continues to be upon us. Marcus, the Messiah, Garvey, Marcus understood these things. He understood that, look, neither this European or that European political party put in place by the Queen of England upon the people of Jamaica could solve the problem of the 96% of the population. At all. It had nothing to do with them. Consequently, him set about creating a party that had nothing to do with Westminster.
All right.
Except that it was operating under the axis of Westminster politics. But it didn't have no business in there. No, you see the governance minority of Jamaica, them knew that.
Yeah, man.
A part of the proceedings for Marcus setting up this party was a constant visitation to Spanish Town prison. Yes, it's not just in America the man go prison, you know.
Man,
Him know more about prison over Yasso
yes,
than him know about, because at one time them was able
hold him North America.
in America, but down Yasso, them used to move him regular.
Yes.
Because he's not a man that was apologizing to the Queen or the system of governance.
True.
He's a man that was constantly agitating for black people to wake up and recognize that this is not the way that it was always.
And nor is it the way it has to be.
It does not. Look, you see, when you look at the journey, black people have formed the opinion that we have failed. And the whole truth is that we never fail. If we fail only in not keeping our people educated to the fact that the highest possible standard of human civilization was reached long before even the beginning.
True.
Long before they even wrote that story about in the beginning. We built the pyramids. We created mysteries that even today the Europeans cannot solve. Even we ourselves are amazed at the things that we have done. We didn't fail. It is just that we have been hoodwinked. They have placed a mask over our eyes, and we are no longer able to recognize our own greatness. This is not our beginning, neither is this our end. We are on a journey, and what we need to do is to look closely at what our great philosophers have done. For example, Marcus Mosiah Garvey. Look at the foundation of the UNIA. What is it that we can do with it today? What was it about this organization that catapulted it onto the world stage? What was it that black people loved so much? Because black people coalesced around Marcus Garvey's philosophies, you know. What was one of the cornerstones of Marcus Garvey's philosophy? Marcus Garvey said, I do not want even $1 from a European. He cannot pay me to become a member of this organization because he don't have any belongings in here. We must be free from Europeans and European influence if we are to grow. So one of the things that he did was to ban white people from becoming members of the organization and also ban them from contributing financially to the organization. These are standards that black people have given up. They think that the moment you form a black man organization, you need to get aid, support from them other Canadian agencies. What it named? CEDA. And then
or US aid.
Or you have US aids. Come on, man.
Yes.
Self-reliance. Race first. Marcus Garvey would not take $1 from them. Rasta, under normal circumstances, need to remember, and the Africans presently descended from the Africans who came here into slavery need to remember Marcus Mosiah Garvey. He built an organization that was real, you know. He made us feel our manhood again. He made us want to protect our women. He made us want to establish them once again to the heights of Empress Menen. We now in this time need to gather that kind of momentum, because it is that kind of momentum that Marcus had. He made black people feel the pyramids rising in their minds again. That is where we need to go.
As African people.
Yes, I.
Metamorphosis. Metamorphosis continuing here at SARS FM in studio. My brother Ras Makonnen. Makonnen is the Vice Chancellor at the Rastafari University of Higher Life Learning, pursuing the creation of knowledge that intelligence can be improved the way Mr. Garvey wanted the Negro to be improved. And so we know that in a small review, for the people who were heavily Christianized, which is the majority of the black people in these western plantations, both in the cotton and the sugar plantation, And for those who believe that the writings are the word of God, there is nowhere in the book that there's any mention of God creating any Negroes. There is nowhere in that book that word exists. So there is no originality to the concept of Negro. It's an invention. It's a white man's invention, the Negro, a label and a psychology developed and applied to African people. And there is no land from which Negroes come, but there's a place that Africans come. It was Garvey who said Africa for the Africans, also.
Yes, sir.
You never said nothing about Negroes for the Negro land. You never said Negro land for Negroes.
There's no Negro land.
There is no Negro land. So, in this present time now, it's about time we shake off that myth of the Negro.
Negro is a condition imposed upon us by the white man.
Serious thing.
Yes, sir.
And if we want to resurrect and regain our divine powers, we have to shake off those labels. It's like a man call you your murderer. And every time a man see him call you murderer, after a while you're going to have to act it out, you know.
Yeah, man, or you feel like a murderer.
I just start feel it, you know. Well, how does a Negro feel? The Negro is supposed to feel, first and foremost, inferior to the white man. That is the first condition, for feel inferior. Then he's supposed to have mercy for the white man.
Forgiveness.
And always forgive him.
How can you forgive a man who have a knife in your belly and a cut comes straight up your throat every day?
How can you forgive him? Because he knows that what he's doing.
You mean him a kill you and him not know?
Because, Lord, forgive him. We ask the Lord to forgive him, you know. Because he doesn't know what he's doing.
No, I'm not join that congregation.
Well, long time I jump out of that congregation, you don't see it.
I'm not forgiving him.
Yes. But, as we really say now, the Negro is a label that we need to reject outwardly. And then it's derivative now, which is the nigger.
What a concoction.
What another concoction, Rasta?
Sure.
So out of the Negro now, they developed the nigger. And then from the nigger to nigger. So it was Nigger and it's now Nigga. You remember Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo?
Catcher, nigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the toe. I always wonder why you never catch a whitey by them toe yet, you know.
Well, you see, from the time I'm on side Rasta,
Yeah.
I'm on to repeat that and use white man.
Yeah, man. Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo, catch a whitey by them toe.
Yeah, man, but I'm never really follow it up too much.
Too much. But it is part of the programming that we must begin to identify I and myself as Negroes. And now in this time when you try to show a black man or woman that they are not Negroes, them in total rebellion. Them in total resistance and all want to tell you say, you're mad.
Yes.
You know? So the brainwashing is so intense that the identity of the African is almost totally washed out. But because of Rastafari now in this particular space and time, it is impossible for that to wash out. Because Rastafari now has emerged out of the morass to redevelop and recreate deities. Something that was almost inconceivable. That black people now would have their own deity. And so Rastafari cite up his imperial majesty and elevate his majesty to the level of deity. May I say now, Marcus Garvey, my brethren, what is preventing us, the Garveyites and the Rastafarians, from elevating Garvey?
Well, I man don't know of nothing that's stopping us. In fact, I man know that even right now, as I sit down here so I talk, you see the bubble dreadlocks with the broom. The man they don't declare Marcus Garvey to be God Almighty. In a triumvirate that includes Prince Emmanuel I, Marcus Garvey, and the Emperor Haile Selassie I, with the Emperor at the head of the Trinity.
I want to explain that again to the listeners.
Yes, I man was saying that the Bobo dreadlocks,
Yeah.
which live in a city out at 9-10 mile Bull Bay in the east of Jamaica. Them man they live in a red, green and gold city. And them man they done declare and done a live it. Them man they even international thing for them man they gone abroad in all different directions abroad. Marcus the Messiah Garvey is God in the world where them Rasta man they live. Them offer praises to the deity Marcus Messiah Garvey. So what I'm saying is that the deification of Marcus Messiah Garvey is presently ongoing. The black people, remember now you know, suppose Rasta couldn't lay claim to nothing else in this society. If I stand up and claim to be the originator of original black people thinking, nobody can say that that is not so. Because our ideas are distinctly non-European and very, very distinctly non-Europeanized. We have freed ourselves from the European coattails, and thusly we have become able to create and establish deities, which is our inborn divine right and responsibility. In the same way that the European is able to name Peter saint.
You know, so the Pope just canonized 2 men last week.
And name them saint. Saint this and saint that.
And give you all African people the saint name them after.
And watch I know. While all of this going on, it coming like say I and I the black man freeze. You're afraid to name a God. You're afraid to develop a deity. Because the man them said that work done. And last week, the Pope.
Only them can do it then.
But it's so the man them said it. But I Rasta wish to make it clear that so. I and I Rasta nah stop. At any point in the development of our history, that we find it necessary to establish another God among us, because we are not limited to the time is now, you know.
The time is now.
I am with you, my brother.
I man say we have His Majesty, and I man say we must also heights up Marcus Messiah Garvey.
By all means, heights up.
You know,
Marcus Garvey,
the ancients had their pantheons of gods and goddesses, you know. And the man them liquid down to nearly zero and reproduce everybody now under this one God name. What the one God name? The one
Jesus
God.
Christ.
Yeah, the Jesus God.
Yes.
And we have the power and the capacity to run away that and to resurrect the gods within our consciousness. His Imperial Majesty Marcus Messiah Garvey, and begin to build that pantheon.
Yes, those among us who we have seen walk like a God, talk like a God, and no, nobody can say Marcus never do that. Remember, you know, one black man, one vice, the year 1920, and one man vice so loud, one man so powerful. This man must be a God.
Whose philosophy should I and I follow? Should it be the philosophy of Jesus or the philosophy of Marcus?
Without hesitation, the philosophy of Marcus.
Rastafari.
Philosophy of Jesus. Philosophy of Jesus never help us. Help us to a whole mass of beaten.
Marcus say, up ye mighty race.
Up ye mighty race.
You can accomplish what you will.
Yes, sir.
journey of our liberation, significant that we must know that in the same basic period, these two great liberators emerged. His Imperial Majesty and Marcus Messiah Garvey, 3, 4, 5 years apart, 1887 and 1892, thereabouts. Because the race was in a crisis. Europeans had just carved up Africa in 1884 in the Berlin Conference. And we're about to go on a total desolation and devastation of the people. And here comes these two mighty forces to provide some form of direction and leadership to an entire race of people. So we're looking at one who now emerged out of the masses, and one would emerge out of royalty. Marcus Messiah Garvey coming out of St. Anne's in this rock of Jamaica. His Majesty coming out of the palaces of Ethiopia. Both of them have a serious objective, very, very similar in objective. In Marcus' position, he's viewed as an ugly man, a troublesome man, problematic. Who is Marcus a problem to? The governing, ruling class, the powers that still control the island, even in today's time. So in order to organize and centralize the black people in the island, Marcus saw the need for politics, political engagement. So we mentioned earlier about the PPP, the People's Political Party. Did I know much about that formation, Marcus?
No, my brother, I don't know.
Them actually lock him up still, and send him to go to jail during the elections, to make sure say him never win him seat.
True.
And the party had a lot of what you call manifesto. It was all about providing enough money for labor and leave for maternal people, all the social things that the PNP appropriated in the 70s was in the Marcus Garvey's outline. Marcus Garvey also prophesied and predicted that Port Antonio would be the third city. He said Montego Bay would be the second and Port Antonio would be the third. Montego Bay has already achieved city status, and we're just working on Port Antonio now, when the people here get conscious enough to know that that is the way it ought to be. But Garvey, my brethren, in that period, a serious threat to the status quo, and eventually them run him out of the island. But before they run him out, they need to organize themselves politically. So we get these two families now. We mentioned about the small alien groups that had the power when the British leave. And they had to organize a country. So them set up these two political parties. And it was really a family affair.
It was a family affair, but not the little family in Jamaica. It's really the royal family. That is the affair that the political party was. The royal family is really the head of the political party them in England. And it's them issue the order to set up two political parties in Jamaica that we can prepare those people for governance.
All right.
To take over the reins of governance. So it just so happened that the two men them that was chosen were cousins.
Just so happened.
It just so happened.
Right.
It's not like say because them is cousin, you have a dynasty of cousins coming up. Like say, them same man there around the country. And you see, them two cousins they really wasn't so much best friends still, Them was constantly at loggerheads. And
but
even now them is still.
But it's important that if you look beyond the cousins, they were really of one family.
Yes,
All
one
right.
family.
So
yes.
it's really a family now in control.
So there I say it's one family in control of the
one
country.
family in control of the country.
Well then, so yes.
And what the one family seems to have done is created an apparent animosity that they don't share in the family. But the masses now take it on literal.
It's a functional animosity within the family. But within the masses, it's a
This very, very dysfunctional and destructive.
Yes.
Devastating. Yeah.
True.
So the people generally then were since Garvey was told that him can't stay here because him too black. You know that Walter Rodney was also told to leave the country because he was talking too much blackness.
Yes, I remember.
So there's a consistency by those who govern this island to run with people who talk about blackness.
Yeah, because it's not to be talked about.
So
you can see it, but don't talk about
so
it.
why did I say that? Why did I think so? Why them all align the way?
Look here. You see, the man, them, the little minority that run the country,
Yeah.
is hold them and hold down a thing for somebody else. And that somebody else don't know, say, him done so much wrong to the black man that him have a plan that the black man must never rise beyond a certain level. And the blueprint what them have for run the country is to keep the black man within a certain dimension. Right there, so he must stay. Him can't rise above it, and it is not necessary for him to go below it because now we're not really there below that status.
You know, they laugh out loud because the man tell I say, park him car with you, you know, and a woman tell you, say, she now move the car and you remind her, say, 400 years now she have under pressure.
400 years now, them not really move.
And when the woman say to you, say, you're getting out of place.
Yes, but you're not getting out of place now.
Yes.
You're not getting out of place. You know, get away with everything. You know? It's a white woman that tell her that, you know.
Yeah. So you want give the listeners a little better insight for the drama quickly.
Well, look here now.
As best as you can.
I'm on park up a Manor Park in front of High-Low food store across from Kentucky Fried Chicken. And I'm on left the car and gone inside. When I come, I see one little a big white truck jam up against my door and I can't even get in. I hear the engine running and I walk around to the front of the truck. The window them dark and I see a white woman sitting down in the truck. I wave to her and I rasta show her, say, really, if you move the truck, I could have get in.
Yeah.
And I walk around to my passenger side seat and she run down her window and she say, I'm not moving.
All right.
So we say, on what basis you're not moving?
One of the yard attack.
Yeah. You know, she said I shouldn't park there. You know, so I say, well, in the same light, you shouldn't park there. You have me blocking.
Mm-hmm.
She said, but it is because of how you parked, and I'm not moving. So she was really strong and feeling proud of her whiteness. So I says to her, well, I don't really know what you mean by when you say you're not moving, and I'm just not moving. You know, when I'm ready to leave, I leave.
Mm-hmm.
So that signal to me that is not a very good position I'm in. I might have to wait a long time.
Or forever.
Yes, because I don't know what mission them depend in the shopping plaza. So Iman arranged for my wife come out of the car and I go over towards the driving seat. But she never really finished with her yet, you know?
You mean this is the white lady, you know, who put it up, man?
Yes. And so while my wife coming out, she's still talking. So Iman said to her, it's 400 years, you don't have phone position and it don't move, you know? Yeah, 400 years and I have we in the same position and I say, you now move. And she said, yes, but you don't get out of hand. You don't get out of hand, no, man. You don't get away with everything.
You know, teachers and policemen and firemen.
Yes, she said, you don't get out.
And I protest too much.
My children, them dead, they are my wife, you know. So the thing them, I say right now is not really make I man make them up.
Sir.
So I go into the car, cross over my front seat and sit down on my driver's seat. But she's still not done yet. So I man tell her she must shut up.
Oh, dare you tell a white woman to shut up?
Shut up. I hear enough of you now. You know?
Yeah.
And then she said, but if you never cross the yellow line, if you never leave your car across the yellow line, I wouldn't have to come and park my truck. I don't know if she was upset that I was leaving.
Yeah.
You know? So I said, look, The problem is not really the yellow line, The problem is the white line.
A different type of reason, no.
And she said, white line? Our window up,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
my window. She said, white line? Which white line? I don't see any white line. I says, look here, the white line in your heart and in your brain. Because it's there, so you're coming out of in this conversation and you talk about yellow line. It's you're wasting the 2 hour time. Anytime you can move that white line out of your brain, there is hope. In the meantime, I'm gone.
Gone.
And we just drive well far.
Well, like white line actually in some black people brain too,
Of course.
Yeah, they have put a serious white line. And we feel in ourselves, enough of the people them that we can challenge are going near that line because we are going to be upsetting Bakra. And we don't want to upset Bakra because they might take away certain things from we.
Well, him always do that. That is the
You know?
system that him use.
Well, you see, this time around now, the people are militant and the people are going to recognize that there's a minority force that is controlling the majority. And they are always wealthy and well-to-do. And it is unfair and it is immoral and it is illegal that the workers on this plantation have to be stuck in an economic situation wherein dignity is disappearing. Even your own children are losing respect now for parents who have qualified and trained themselves because the money is not sufficient. So, Garvey, now, we'll be telling the people a long time now, say self-reliance is the way forward. And how do we move a population now that becomes dependent on the politicians to begin to think about self-reliance? It's a serious thing them have way now, you know.
Well, clearly you're talking about a new philosophy. Because you see the present mixture of philosophies that operate inside of the present Babylon system of government, it don't even come close to a solution to present problem. There has to be a totally new, not only philosophy, but language equal to the philosophy. Something that can actually move the black man from where him there in a mind to a new status that could be closer to where we were when our civilization eclipsed all other civilizations, including this one.
Is it time for a black political party? Is it time that we have a political party that is consciously driven by race, where the majority is of one race?
Iman would have said yes, but I wouldn't want to call it a political party. Iman say a movement away from that political party system, because man is a corrupt something, you know.
See, from day one.
Yeah, it's fully corrupt from day one, from the Queen.
From Henry.
Sat down, from Henry Morgan. Make we go right there.
From Henry to the present.
Because you see, if a man like Henry Morgan, who is reputed to be the wickedest man who ever walked on 2 foot, and yet him was good enough for Queen Eliza to make.
James Erie wasn't no sweetheart either, you know.
Yeah, I remember the guy.
Yeah, most
brutal, cutthroat
suppression on black people, kill off thousands of black people in St. Thomas.
Yeah, the same governor down there where they kill Paul Bogle.
Yeah, and I.
Yeah.
And we still have a governorship in the country same way. So that office is still here.
No, I urge you, my brother, we have to be very careful. Yeah. Not only on this program. You can't just talk about the Queen's representative like that.
Oh,
you're talking about the Governor General?
Okay, let's play music.
Rastafari, Ashanti. Well, tribe of Israel. Babosh. African Federation. Calling Rastafari. Calling Rastafari. Sons and daughters of His Majesty.
Rastafari emerges in this mix as a liberating force, projecting and holding on to the ideology of the God Gavi, looking towards Africa, looking towards self-reliance, looking towards economic empowerment, looking to the principles of Gavi's philosophy, looking at African fundamentalism as a philosophy. So an alternative has always been there. The alternative is quoted in racial identity and racial politics. So when the two tribes were set up, as I said earlier, when the family of the, what do we call them, those who were given the right to run the island, they decided to form these two tribal groups. As I said, one national and one labor.
Yes.
The English model. And in this model now, they have this type of governance that they call Westminster.
Yes.
Now that has been imposed on the island, put on the country, literally. And out of that, now we have a structure from which our governance flow, out of this Westminster model. Now this model now, Rastafari in its very early also cite up the deficiencies in the model. And realize that the model wasn't really trying to promote the upliftment and the development of that 96% majority. That model was geared towards control by the minority and to export the resources and the talent of the country. So this model now, they call it Westminster. Parliamentary thing. It's established by the, what you say, the Queen.
It's the Queen of England.
But before we even get into the model itself, it is something that it is supposed to benefit the country. What I say, because if you set up a model of governance, it is supposed to benefit, but really maybe the question is benefit who?
Well, watch I know. You see, the I say if you set up a model of government, of governance, all right? But it coming like, I know we really set it up, you know.
Well, like that, no.
It's a package them send down here. Is like, all right, it's like a Kentucky Fried Chicken franchise. You don't really need to do nothing concerning the processes that govern a Kentucky Fried Chicken franchise. It come wholesale. All you do is take it out of the box, put it down, and you find say it work. It done tested and tried. So you see, the package of governance that them send down here and give to Bustamante and Norman Manley and them other man there, you know, who did in the politics at the time. It was set. You just take the box and you open it, and this is the part where you play opposition, and this is the part where you play, you is the ruling party. This is the parliament. Everything set is not really something where we develop from scratch. The only thing where they are right now will come from scratch that is not tainted by the European philosophy is Rasta. Every other form of administration on the island is a direct piece of European instruction to black people. Up until the time of the political party them do, you know. the only basic division between the black people was the churchical division.
Right, the sect, then where them set up.
Yes.
Yeah.
But now you reach a stage, you see, where they are now at the least amount a division inside the system of governance. Like the JLP and the PNP would be the greatest
divide,
division
yeah.
right now.
Right now.
Because churchically, pretty much one church you have in this island. Pretty much one.
Me just say two.
Well, you have the seven. I know the Seventh-day Adventist is
Me
one.
just say Catholic and Anglican.
Well, you could also say Seventh-day Adventist and Catholic then.
All right.
Because the Seventh-day Adventist eclipsed the Anglican man them.
Right now.
Like right now, the man them who are perform the Protestant role, which is the same Anglican role, is the Seventh-day Adventist. I really them around the island, you know.
Well, even the Governor General now.
Is that I really want to say?
He's
It's
a
like,
Seventh-day Adventist.
it's like a man who don't really have no shame. Him is supposed to be a servant of the Lord Jesus Christ. He was the head of the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Jamaica. And him left that and become the head of state. It's an unholy marriage. A marriage between the church and the state. Next thing you know, the church might want a big position in the politics because for them governor is now the Governor General who has been given a knighthood by the Queen of England. He is now known as Sir Patrick. Sir Patrick, maybe the giant killer, I don't know, the giant slayer.
You know, say the thing so disjointed at the very top that the whole nature of our leadership. It's a very peculiar situation to know that the people vote for political leaders, but they don't vote for the Governor General.
No, them couldn't vote for the Governor General. They can't vote for Queen neither.
Right. So it's not the people running. It's not the country not being run by the people in Jamaica.
No, but I Rasta know that.
All right.
The ultimate ruler of Jamaica is Elizabeth. What's her name again?
Regina.
Elizabeth Regina Windsor.
All right.
Elizabeth Regina Windsor. She's the real head of state of this country. Below her, her chief representative is in the island is Sir Patrick.
All I know. So this chief representative, entitled.
Yes.
The Governor General.
Yes, the Governor General. He is the General
It's
Governor.
two titles, I'm only know.
Yes.
He is a governor of the plantation. But what is he the general of?
Well, him is the general the Queen sent down here.
No, he is the general of the army.
Yes, the same man. Yeah.
Yeah. So this virgin here now is a governor of the political affairs and the general of the army.
The Queen's army.
Yeah, the Queen's army who sits at Upper Camp.
Yes, waiting for her instructions.
For her instructions.
Which might be go down to Tivoli Gardens and kill your brother.
Whatever it is.
Yes.
No, the people in the country here now who protesting about raise a pay and want income increase and can't take salary freeze. I say, are the people able to see beyond the politicians and look into the governor generalship to realize that much money and resources are being poured into that office and that house? And what about it being rechanneled to the workers? And the workers, they may not see even the relevance of this Governor General office, because if an island achieves political independence, how can its leadership politically be in a foreign country?
But I don't want the idea, you know, my brother. I say, you have to be careful because you're talking about the man who is the Queen's representative and the head of state in Jamaica, who is answerable only to she, Remember now, you know, the Governor General don't answer to the Prime Minister, you know.
What a thing, brethren?
Him is above the Prime Minister. In fact, is the Prime Minister have to answer to the Governor General, and the Governor General answer to the Queen. And them talking about a mysterious thing in the island called independence.
To be what? Independence?
Well, I suppose it really mean that. But them have the people them mystified, thinking that this independence means that they are free.
But maybe they are free.
Well,
but they're not self-reliant yet.
Self-reliant, free.
Something is confusing.
Those things are not real concepts, not for the black people. Because somewhere in there, all right, suppose you're free. Do you need a man to come and show your self-reliance? Suppose you're free. Do you need a man to come and give you independence? Suppose you're free. Don't you free? And you are now able to equally take your place in the scheme of races across the world and establish yourself as capable of governance of your own self. But the fact is that Jamaica is not a free country. Jamaica is a part of a system of governance that is presently imperialistic in its philosophy. It is headed by a queen. They have quieted the rhetoric of the British Empire and they have changed the language. But the essence of it remains, and the Queen of England is still in charge of Jamaica. The concept of independence is really a misnomer designed to lull us to sleep while we continued to be governed by the white world.
Well, I think in this slumber, we reach a point now where the people have to wake up.
And the sleeping giant is trying to wake up, you know. But it's not so easy because remember, when you went to sleep, you prayed to the white God. Consequently, waking up outside of that situation is not an easy one. You might wake up, but as long as you're praying to the white God, which is just one step away from the white race, then you're still locked into a kind of a European override
encampment
all around us.
Every Friday night, I'm tuned into Stars FM. Metamorphosis, one of the best things to happen to Jamaica radio.
Planning a party, club night out, stage show, a gospel concert, or even a business sales event? Let Styles FM be a part of your promoting tool. Take advantage of our low-price promotion packages with commercials, interviews, giveaways, reviews, and much more. We have special offers when you mix and match and bundle your options. Contact us at 876-286-9216 or 439-5160. Styles FM for the most effective way to exploit your marketing dollar.
Catch the showdown every Saturday morning, 10:30 to 11 a.m. on Styles FM. Yes, it's smoother sailing. The showdown. Two artists goes head to head. You tell us who's your favorite. Call us on 453-1444. The showdown, 10:30 to 11 a.m.
Yo, me I tell you, so yo, don't miss the adrenaline rush with Digital T every Saturday 4 to 8 p.m. where new music and new artists live. Yo, it's entertaining and interactive. Yo, don't miss the party hour 7 to 8. Totally. Na 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 na. Baby, when you take my picture on the camera phone when me and the next girl carry on from the beach. Yo, don't forget in the Digital T, the adrenaline rush. Totally.
Styles FM presents Fan Fusion Party Episode 2. Retro Gunyan, the deadliest retro music party event of the year. Saturday, July 11th, 2015 at Bayview Villas. Waterfront property. Dolphin Bay, Port Antonio, Jamaica. Party starts at 7 sharp. Meet and hear your favorite Styles FM DJs. Playing 35 years of hits from the 70s to early 2000s. Admission $400 pre-sold, $500 at the gate. Listen to Styles FM for ticket outlets or contact 286-9216. Must be 18 years and older to enter. ID required. Drink responsibly.
Styles FM.
With Styles FM on the go, you can listen to your favorite programs by calling the USA number 213-992-4360. If you're in the UK, is 033-0010-3322.
Metamorphosis, getting into the deconstruction of mythologies and allegories, fables and nursery rhymes, and the various devices that capture the imagination of I and I and I. There is a undercurrent dispute and debate that goes on often amongst black people, about black people, especially when it comes to the heroes and the heroines of the black struggle. So, like, for example, in North America, two of the prominent black man them who was engaged in that struggle was Malcolm X and the Reverend Martin Luther King. And there has been I think, a strategy to encourage black people to take a side and to defend one of those black heroes and to actually try to promote one over the other. To the extent that there was actually a lobby and a begging by some sections of black America for a holiday to be recognized by the government for Martin Luther King. Let us say that was successful. So there's a Martin Luther King Day. There has been no such attempt to elevate and recognize Malcolm X. And there are those who will condemn Malcolm and praise Martin and vice versa. Dr. Ben will tell us that both men were involved in the same struggle, the liberation of black people. Now on our island here in Jamrock, we are set up to look at Haile Selassie and Marcus Garvey. And oftentimes now they are set up in a challenge. Makonnen. It's like them always are forced to try to choose which hero is the greatest of the heroes. And so enough Rastaman will point to Marcus Garvey as a prophet, and His Majesty as a divinity. And you have enough Garveyites who will see Marcus as a messenger, but them have a difficulty with His Majesty as a divinity. So how we think we can reconcile those forces? Because the two forces dealing with the liberation of black people, His Majesty and both Marcus Garvey.
In terms of historical and cultural journey, the present direction of the Africans in the diaspora is not one that has become concrete to the extent that His Imperial Majesty's deification by Rasta is accepted by the people. Any position that Marcus Garvey has achieved in the society is literally by force of character of Marcus Garvey.
And to the support of Rastafari.
Well, you see, Marcus Garvey has existed all these years quietly because Rasta never let him down, Rasta never let him go. But Rasta himself, you know, apart from the Bobo Shanti, have not declared Marcus Garvey to be God. This I would want to believe is because at the present moment, Rasta in his mind has gone far, far, far by declaring His Majesty to be God. That is something that is unaccountable for. It is something like it I say, but the man them gone too far.
Yes.
They must say, man a God and Selassie a God. So you see, if Rasta go make the next step now and to generally elevate Marcus Garvey to a status of godhood,
the thing I broke out now.
we the Rasta would have gone further in this kind of madness that them already would have want put we in. But I man have no doubt that as we grow philosophically and philosophically, the elevation of not only Marcus Garvey, but others of us who have played major and prominent roles in bringing together the black people towards an inevitable freedom that would now allow us to philosophically deify anyone who we choose to so do. Just like how the European all know
them still
a deify man.
A canonized man, a turn man who did 100 years ago, I turn him in a saint, and next thing you hear so them is angel and all them kind of thing there.
And then them turn round and caution we the black people. So we have to be careful who we are called God. But them would have to be careful, you know, because them in the same history book like we, and not like say, them would have no more authentic claim to any chapter in our world history different from we. Whatever claim them make is because them stake it. So suppose we are going to make a claim, all we have to do is stake it. Stand by it. And you see, since the time of the coming of the emperor and even before, from Rasta declare Rastafari. Because you have to remember, you know, Rasta declare Rastafari to be God even before he become the emperor, you know.
Definitely.
Yes.
Yes,
we did done see say Rastafari was God Almighty. And then when he become emperor, we simply add the name to the praises. So now you have Rastafari, Emperor, Haile Selassie, King of Kings, Lord of Lords, and God of Gods. Now, if you look at that now, you know, because Rasta said, what we have done is we have left the possible opening for a cultural addition when the time comes. Because our culture is clearly one that now can accommodate God of Gods, King of Kings and Lord of Lords.
True.
We have not yet done these things, but we're on the road. So there's an inevitability about Marcus Garvey being deified by Rasta and eventually by all black people. Because right now, you know, there is a consciousness of more black people, both bald head and Rasta, to the divinity of the emperor. There was a time when only Rasta alone would have cited the emperor. But you can go out in the wider culture now and you're going through and a bald head black brother said to you, Selassie, him not a joke, you know.
True.
Him called the name of God and him know you recognize it.
Well, I think we have been calling the name of another God without knowing. Every time we say Marcos, Messiah, Yahweh. Is I and I have the power to elevate and to name and to create our own pantheons of gods and goddesses. And you know, see, the goddess thing is another trick thing because the pharaohs, we never have nobody call no pharaohs, you know. And pharaohs are also women, you know.
Yes.
So the god and the goddess concept, the goddess thing, no, we're not even too sure about the goddess part. But we know so they are feminine and masculine principles and that they're males and females. And we're saying that within the powers of creativity, I and I have the capacity to elevate and to create our own deities. And His Majesty is as is. And I saying that Garvey, way beyond hero. Way beyond hero.
Way beyond life.
Influencing here, there, and everywhere. Metamorphosis. Brother Fred Locks coming out of Harbour View, the ancient bridging. We didn't know him as Bully. This ideology of repatriation, it's been around quite a while. And it has been effective in North America from the 1800s. Enough of the black men who were in America decided to return to the continent and they took up residence in Liberia in particular as a state. Marcus Garvey is recognized as one of the men who pointed to Africa as a place that black people should look to find their own redemption, to find their own government, find their own king, find their own religion. Sent us forward to our homeland. But Makonnen, the concept of repatriation, Rastafari had that as one of the cornerstones of its philosophy. Marcus Garvey also spoke of repatriation.
Yes.
Is it relevant today as people try to find better employment and better working conditions where they are? What is the value you think of repatriation?
Well, repatriation is even more relevant today, right now. than it was in the time of Marcus Garvey.
Why would you say that?
It would have felt to the people in Marcus Garvey time, however, when Marcus Garvey was treading, that repatriation now was urgent. However, to these black people in this time, them not seeing the repatriation with the same urgency as the Garveyites in that time.
True.
That is so now because we are so caught up in this materialistic European culture that the concept of a return to our ancient ancestral homeland and to reclaim or to restamp our claim to our motherland is drifting, moving away from us.
You know, say that there are many black men in America who heading for Ghana right now as part of them physical repatriation.
The repatriation I man talk about is more of a community repatriation. That is all of the Africans who were removed forcefully from our homeland.
But is that practical for an entire community to get up and move?
It is much more than practical if it is properly planned. It is only an event.
Okay, only an event.
It's only an event. It is no event that you can say it did bigger than the exodus of the Israelite people when they were leaving Africa.
Remember, I said those 10 of them leaving, no? You know, if they make exodus, they make one, I feel like 100,000.
It was a couple hundred of them, man. Couple 100,000.
Me think it was 50 or 2.
No, man.
Think about 2,000 of them.
The numbers is written down in the said book that them write, called the Bible.
All right.
I man go through it and I man find
and you
it.
think of so much. All right.
No,
that's one different drama.
Well, look here. I man just repeating.
Yes, sir.
Say that is that right down in the book. But don't make the mistake that I'm making any statement concerning the credibility of that which was written in the book.
So, forward again to the repatriation concept now.
Yes.
Now, there is a repatriation that people speak about that is not physical. It is in the psychological world. Where in the psychic world, in the mental world, the Africans who were uprooted and brought into this hemisphere because of the brainwashing. Many brains were washed totally white. And so there was a concept of repatriation as rewashing the brain before even moving a physical body. In other words, no, reconnecting with your African identity, reconnecting with your African story, reconnecting with your Africanness as a prelude to anything physical.
Yes, well, that, my brother, is a necessary part of the process towards an eventual repatriation. That is, the mind, as you say, has to be washed. We who were brought into the Western world in chains will now have to remove those physical chains that the European had translated into psychological chains. It is our responsibility now to remove the psychological chains and to reinvent ourselves as a black people with a black destiny. Any attempt at repatriation without first dealing with the problem of the brainwashing through which we have gone will not be successful.
We have to unlearn much of what was programmed.
So that repatriation becomes a very, very long-term goal.
All right. No, you see, within that long-termness of that goal, Rastafari have been insisting on repatriation and reparations as two major planks in the whole movement from the 30s. But here we are in 2015. And I'm saying now, with the workers and the plantation people struggling to survive here, we're working 12, 15 hours a day in debt and in so forth and so on. Isn't it perhaps more relevant in this time that a movement be developed not for reparations, but for redemption in Jamaica.
Listen, the two of them is one. Because, you see, if you look upon repatriation, you would have to look at it as a historical, long-standing goal and objective of a people. You see, the governance of the day-to-day, year-to-year activities of those same people, those same people would have to understand that if you want to go back home, first you have to be able to govern where you're there now.
No, you know, so Rastaman originally never have, and to me, enough Rastaman don't hold this notion of governing here, you know. Because enough Rastaman still involved in the repatriation concept. And I'm saying now the time has come where we must become more practical and be more Garveyite in our thinking and think about governance in the present.
Yes, absolutely.
So now, if we are spending our money here that we don't have, and if we are paying bills for what we can, and we are feeling taxation, and there's a fury on the people here based on the money, shouldn't the people then begin to have a say in how the money is administered, how the country run? In other words, Rastafari missed the boat and need to recognize that as much as Rasta born politics for the last 40 years, 50 years, governance. Politics is about governance. Politics is not about PNP and JLP. Politics is about governance. His Imperial Majesty was one of the world's greatest politicians, making appearances at the United Nations and speaking to the globe from a political position. So here we are now in Jamaica. Enough Rastaman saying repatriation time. So them now deal with governance anymore. We have a massive 96% population that is African who not getting any service out of the minority government. I am saying to the IMACONIN, maybe the time has come. We're in a new form of administration nationally after be constructed out of the vision of Rastafari. Westminster does not work.
And please remember that the politics where we know about is Westminster. So if you say the Westminster now work, at the same thing you say concerning the politics, that now work neither.
Right. So I'm saying no. New vision of governance.
Rastafari, that name.
Perspective.
New vision of governance. It named Rastafari. Rastaman have to go wake up. And the people them have to go listen for the call of Rasta concerning them waking up. For them couldn't wake up before Rasta, you know. The brainwashing very much heavy and intense on them. But there is only one way we can ever realistically talk about repatriation. We would have to have the reins of governance in our hand, whereby we can decide whether or not and when the repatriation and how it will take place. It cannot be a hairy-fairy kind of pie-in-the-sky business where you're saying, I will not take place or part of the political governance of the island of captivity. You cannot do that.
Well, hear me now. And I'm suggesting now that in order to really activate in a practical way what I and I speaking about, we have to look at the island from a different lens. And I am saying to the island now, after all of these years of central government and this horse race between these two horse race, and then the body win the race become the governance, and the next person become the other part of the governance.
Opposition.
But still government.
Yes.
Right?
Is it
still government.
Same family.
Same family. All right. So now, if we break up this oligarchy, this family control of this plantation, and one of the ways I think that it can be done in a progressive way is to look at the island in regions. In other words, now it's a central government, is a dysfunctional way of operating this island. We have regions now, and I think that when the English was leaving, they didn't think that black people reach a level where we were so technologically and so globally knowledgeable to be able to understand political and economics. We may say to them now, in order to Rastafari to be involved in the governance, it cannot be in the Westminster model. Because if Rasta enter the Westminster model, they will behave in the same way as the people, anybody else who enter it.
And that must be clearly understood by the people and by Rasta. Rasta in terms of governance is a departure from Westminster into the mind of Africa. You begin to think again of the way it was and how it can be if we cleanse our mind of the cake-up corruption of European whitewashing that we have become.
Yes, so we're going to purge it.
Promised land. Yes, the promised land. Oh gosh, now to the promised land. Well, make a step down to Asmara. Then we stop in Addis Ababa. Made our way to Shashamaniland. Riding on the King's Highway to the promised land. Going to the promised land. Promised land. Well, there's plenty of land for you and I, by and by. Lots of food to share for everyone. No time for segregation in the promised land. Oh gosh, take me to the promised land. It's the promised land. Oh, that's the promised land. Whoa, whoa, oh, yeah. Said we're riding on the King's Highway from Cairo to Kenya. Made a stop in Asmara, then we made another one in Addis Ababa. The promised land, going to the promised land.
Yeah, Metamorphosis going through. Suddenly the program is looking like it coming to a rapid. I saw it going sometime in the back then.
True. I didn't notice that.
You know,
tonight in particular.
Yeah.
It's a run.
It's a run looking too far. But when we look at the nature of governance now, oftentimes we don't get a chance to look at the details of how the plantation here is really operated, because the people so focused on meeting the next bill. The bill and the picnic to school and the lunch money and it's just a overloading situation. But then again now, we look at the island that we're on now and the nature of how it is governed. First of all, the English cut you up in a 3 county. Them put one, them say Cornwall, Middlesex and Surrey. You remember that?
True.
Now I don't know how much relevance that have today. That I think we could abolish that quite easily. And try to resurrect ourselves maybe under maybe Garvey and Bogle and Nani or something, You
see what the eyes say? The eyes say, if Rastafari is to come into the political mixture of the Jamaican society, Rasta would have to be seen as the departure from Westminster politics.
Definitely.
In the same way, once Rasta enter into the day-to-day lifestyles of the people, Rasta become the departure from that lifestyle. Because that is the only way, you know, we have to create a whole new culture that drop out those things that are separating us, like the artificial barriers of Cornwall, Middlesex, and Surrey.
And you know, so we do it, they are not, it's just psychologically keeping us in England.
Well, you see, as long as you're entertaining the European education system, you are always locked in either Cornwall, Middlesex, or Surrey.
What a thing is?
Yes. And remember, you know, those of us, the higher we go into the educational system, is the deeper you get into these three things.
Yes, I tell you, see it.
And, until you actually believe that such structures
really
physically exist.
Yeah, man, you're actually living in Surrey.
Yes.
and you Middlesexians.
Oh.
Man, I tell you. But I say to you now, once you begin to get aware, and you know that all of these areas, most of the parishes now, you have a king and a queen and a princess and a king. You have a royalty street. You have a street of royalties.
Oh, yes.
In other words, them put down them thing into the midst of it. King Street, Queen Street, Princess Street,
yes,
and Duke Street.
And King Stone.
Yes.
King Stonians.
Right.
Yeah. We are attached
to the king,
to the royalty,
the
line
the coat tail
of Westminster.
The coat tail.
And we stay there and give them praises.
Well, hear me now. So now them have us into these three little box now. I think the greatest tragedy in Jamaica today, in terms of government and structure, it's not about the personality of the people who govern, you know, because I think the people personality is good before them enter. I think they all went to school, them all grew up into a family. They are basically, to me, good people. I don't want to impugn anybody's character before them enter.
Makonnen say,
yeah,
Wagan bad morning,
yeah,
can't come good evening. I like the eye, not blaming them,
yeah,
but remember this. They, in the same way that we have been kept in our place, that is the black people who was on the plantation. Remember, said them never dip on the plantation. Them was in the great house. They were a part of the administrative processes that govern the black people. They were black people, but they were put as a hedge between us and the Europeans.
Yeah.
So the Europeans never had to deal with us directly. They were given the responsibility to govern this place. They never, and they will do everything in their power never to enter into communion with us in terms of lifestyle, because they have gotten accustomed to the trappings of power
and privilege,
and they will do whatever they can to hold on to it. So I see them as a group of people who eventually will have to be brought under the governance of Rastafari in the time of the Rastafari governance of these islands of captivity.
No, you know, say, the size of this island here now, the size, the geographical makeup, how big Jamaica is. Well, almost like 4,000 something square miles.
It is not a big place.
We're not 5,000 square miles.
No, it's not a big place.
We are like the size of one of a small American state, like Connecticut.
Or Columbia. District of Columbia.
Okay.
Yes.
No. When we look at the size of this island, and you look at the population, long time hovering near 3 million. So look at 3 million and done. And the people who govern this place, in their collective wisdom, divide the island into 63 different constituencies. 63 Makonnen, you know. Makonnen, 63 different little fiefdom on this island. So how can you get efficient governance when you slice up the small pie so small?
There is no requirement, my brother, for efficient governance. The requirement is for a group of people to, as accurately as possible, imitate the British system of Westminster governance. That does not in any way imply that it should be an effective system of governance. Them no business with that. Remember, say them set it up, you know. Them set it up to maintain this harmony and to ensure that a communion between all of the black people in these islands never take place.
Okay.
So you put 63 constituencies in a little place like this. If you find a place this size,
the wickedest thing ever take place.
Inside of the European world, you will never find 63 contending people to rule over such a small amount of people.
Is that a wicked act, you know?
It is terrible and dreadful, but it has ensured over the years since their so-called abolition of slavery, it has ensured that we constantly are going at each other's throat. There is no system of governance here. There is a system of repression, attempting to intimidate,
repression,
to imitate the European system of government, which has led us as a people to repress our own people.
Metamorphosis, exploring, examining our system. Metamorphosis going down into the final 15 minutes, and of course, Sister Martha Griffiths and the women can't leave out the women in the struggle for liberation and the upliftment of the race. You know that there's an attempt to diminish the concept of race, particularly by those who are in academia. People who are in a high level of language and reading. And it is really an attempt to diminish the capacity of black people. Because, hear me now, you can't tell me that there is no such thing called race. And that race is now what you call a social construct. It's no longer biological. Them say it's social. And we mustn't begin to think about race anymore. So we're not Africans anymore. We are now belonging to this thing called human race. Well, I went tell the one them properly who listening. I and I is no human. I and I come from the race of man. So just know that. Just know that. Just know that. The women, my brethren, critical in the movement. We need more heroines and more female saints. They are there, you know, but they're not documented. So what you say, what is the role of woman now in this new dispensation? Because she can't simply be a helpmeet.
Well, watch I. The reality in a black people world, in the land of slavery, I man do not talk at this particular moment outside of the land of slavery, because inside us, so we need the greatest assistance. If you look on the role of woman today, what you're going to find is that them take over.
Where you call take over?
Well, the reality is the man them gone in a kind of hibernation period. I don't like say them dead out, them still dead. But the beating in has been great and savage.
Savage and sinking.
And it's sinking inside of them head to the point where there is almost a hopelessness that is creeping into them psyche. Whereas the woman not allowing that to happen to herself.
Right.
Probably because she still have to take care of her
responsibilities upon her.
So you see, when she get up in the morning, she can't go light a ganja spliff and drink a bottle of rum. First, she have to think about the little baby, the bigger baby, the bigger baby, and the big picnic who is creating problems that she have to solve. And she look to the man, and the man round the corner in a different world all by himself. He might look for another woman to engage in sexual gymnastics, whereas she on a mission of attempting to grow up the family that sexual gymnastics have given her. And we have to understand, you know, that right now, inside of the black community in the Caribbean, any group of men that have an intention to take over the governance of this country going to have to dialogue with the woman them, because them is a up and coming force that is virtually unstoppable.
Well, it's long time, you know. Marcus Garvey, as much as him say and do, it is really the women that bring the philosophy to print.
Yes.
In other words, Garvey had two wives. One called Amy, and the next one named Amy too.
Amy.
That was very skillful.
Very skillful. That be saying they might even change a name. When he married to the first woman and the first woman gone, and the second woman come, him just say, "Hi, Amy."
And she just say, "Yes, Marcus."
What a great man.
Yeah, and this is the point we're trying to make here now, is that the African race will not progress until the female and the male hit that unity.
Yes.
And that is what the Europeans have attacked. For hundreds of years, they have waged a campaign against the African woman and against the African man, but particularly against the woman because she has the children. And if you can defeat and conquer the African woman, the man is left alone and the children are scattered. So the women now, and as you notice now in the struggle in Jamaica, a lot of women now are becoming representatives of the voice of these organizations. They're becoming militant because they pick it up on them case. And when they pick it up on your head, you know, I have had the experience of having picnics on my head for quite a number of years. Just recently, I've had the pleasure of getting them off. Boy, I tell you, it's like being born again. So I over the stress and the distress when the picking them involved. We need income, need health insurances, we need all kinds of things for the picking them. How can we be employed full-time for a nation or a government, and then when we get our money, the money can't even feed the picking them?
The objective of the persons who control the money, that is another thing, Iman Blak. You see this money business, it would have come in like said I have to establish one Friday night session dedicated to talking and educating the people about this money thing. Because the money is one of the cornerstones that them use and anchor way.
True.
Down on the ground at the bottom of the pile all the while.
All the while.
Into a sea of hopelessness.
I tell you I.
And animosity, venom,
vexation,
and anger towards one another. Quarreling and fighting over money where we no make.
And we don't even have much of.
Have no control over it.
So how we resolve this war?
My brother, I tell the man, say it would have take more than one
program
metamorphosis to deal with it.
Definitely.
But definitely, you see, at this time in the night, the only thing we can do is make a statement to the extent that one of the greatest divisions among black people, any people, but specifically among black people, is that commodity that is made in London by Thomas De La Rue and friends. We continually make Thomas richer, whereas we get poorer. Every time the governor of the Bank of Jamaica order another dosage of money, Thomas De La Rue laugh. Elizabeth Regina Windsor laugh. And we stay down here and try to spread that money among the masses. It can't happen. It not happen.
You know, say, we for Lego a serious agricultural crop for free the money is really the cannabis, you know, in all varieties and versions.
What a poignant statement you have made. The Europeans who have heard it were frightened because they are saying to themselves, them getting out of hand now. Them are get away with everything. Let us call them in and begin to chop off them head and them foot and remind them that them name Toby
and John
Rastafari.
Emmanuel, you got chance them to when them take it from Africa we never have no criminal record. I know them take it go and bring. Marcus give you a profit first, man, then they put. If you have a clean record, passport and visa, you can't pass them port. Pass them port. So we don't come here for no visa and no passport. We don't come here for no visa and no passport. We all we come down here on the same boat. We all we come down here on the same boat. We don't come here for no visa and no passport. We don't come here for no visa and no passport. All Google have to run like you see and don't. We all we come down here on the same boat. The police and soldier, all the commissioner, the nurse and doctor, the judge and lawyer, also the governor general and prime minister. The whole of we come down here on the same boat. Rise up, oh we mighty ways. Rise and take a stand again. My people still cutting sugar cane. Babylon, them and use them brain. No change on our feet, but we are not free. Living in this outdoor captivity. My people still living in poverty. Fear of safety can't be free. Don't come here for no visa and no passport. Don't come here for no visa and no passport.
Yeah, Metamorphosis coming through into this early final stages. Obviously, as Marklin said, can't cover everything in this brief span of time. But one of the things I want to leave with the listeners in their thought processes is this new arrangement being proposed of governance. And it's obvious that we don't need 63 people to divide up such a small island. And then after it's divided into 63 places, then we have the churches now who do their own division to cut us up into even smaller pieces. So now, how do we remedy the bigger one, the bigger divide, which is by the political structure and the overall governance of this Westminster model that obviously has failed from its inception. It wasn't set up to benefit the masses of the people. It was set up to export the resources of the country and to let those who were the governance live way beyond the average means of the population. So the people now recognize now that the central government thing don't work. No set a man can't stay at town and tell you what to do at Portland and tell you what to do in Trelawney. And a pipe break in Trelawney have to call town and wait for town send somebody. People in Montego Bay want service and have to wait for town. We have outgrown town. The island is greater now than town, and there are towns now in many places on the island. So we have to think about regions. Yeah, regions, regional government on this island. And we don't need too many types of regions here, because they're already defined. We have a western region, we have a south central, we have Kingston St. Andrew, we have the northeast. We have these 4 regions that operate almost autonomous. These are regions we must begin to think about now to give them some political autonomy. We need regional power, political power in the regions. And of course, we still need a national government. But regions need to have more say in their own development, in their own economics. So for example, Virgin, wrong northeast, St. Thomas to St. Anne's. The economy could be built different from the economy that is in South Central, which is from St. Elizabeth up to St. Catherine. Likewise, the western section of Jamaica have their own idiosyncrasies. So we need to put the resources differently. In other words, you say taxes should be spent in the region that you live. And we develop more regional alliances than political alliances. It's a way of thinking that is not traditional. It is outside the PNP and JLP regime. We're talking about areas now, regional pride. Even police and security could be regionalized.
If them survive the reorganization of the society, because remember, the police force was set up by the government of the Queen of England to protect the Europeans from the masses of the people.
Right.
It was also set up by the Europeans to maintain the masses of the people in a state of fright and fear of governance.
In a new order, the police force will have to work for regions.
In a new order,
yes,
my brother, Iman declared that them don't even fear exist.
You still need, well, okay, we can't even leave it at that. But the point is, each region have the capacity to develop its own economy. In other words, now, an international airport should be in every region.
In total agreement.
International playfields, immigration buildings. In other words, now, if we were to decentralize the powers that have been holding the plantation, it would free up the energies of the population.
The creative energies, of the population. You see, where the police is concerned, my brother, I and I would have to create a different
sense of law and order. Yeah, man. We can go to another program about security itself.
Yes, I.
But the major things like our light and water could be regionalized, where each region have their own light power, own water system, and we become a more efficient country.
Own communication system.
And that there is more prosperity in the country, even sportically. Each region should have their own confederation team, all-star team from each confederation that leads to a national team.
Yes.
And so we begin to use our resources that will be beneficial to the 96% majority. I can't believe what I know. The time is getting to here, son. Cassidy, give us something near the end, like tonight.
Why won't you come home? Tell me that you love me tonight.
I want to give thanks to all who have been listening. I want to hear my special friend up there in the Bronx. And to all those who have been part of the metamorphosis in the various states of America and in the various parishes of Jamaica, in the various islands of the Caribbean, various countries of Africa, Europe, people in the UK, people down under in Australia. And of course right here in Port Antonio. Hail to the people who are in St. Thomas, our most recent listeners. And hail of course to the people in St. Mary, Buff Bay, Titchfield School, Titchfield Hill, and Summerstone Road. And where you live, Malcolm? In the Bible, which part you live?
Yes, I. St. Margaret's Bay,
Well, all right.
Snow Hill.
Yes, I.
Yeah, man. St. Margaret Bay, Snow Hill, Hope Bay. All the people them out in those regions. Greetings from Makonnen, Ras Makonnen, Nyasaland.
See that.
Hail His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie, Jah Rastafari.
Presenting an alternative to this system, this type of governance that keeps the people poor. And I'm saying to the teachers and the nurses and the doctors who are protesting, you must maintain your vigilance and your militance. Because if there is a sudden event in the tourist industry, the government would find money to do damage control. They would easily find a whole set of US dollars to patch up the tourist product, but they can't patch up the pockets of the hard-working citizens of this country. We think every MP should take a 25% cut in salary. No. Metamorphosis.
What's the matter, people? Solidarity. Solidarity. Oh. Everybody wants the same thing, don't they? Everybody wants a happy end. They want to see the game on Saturday. They want to be somebody's friend. Everybody want to work for a living. Everybody want their children warm. Everybody wants to be forgiven. They want a shelter from the storm. Look at me, I ain't the enemy. We walk in common ground. We don't need to fight each other. What we need. Solidarity. Oh, solidarity. Solidarity. Oh, yeah. Solidarity. Nobody likes to ask for money. Nobody likes to play the clown. Nobody likes to wait in a long line. Nobody likes being pushed around. Everybody wants a family protected. They want to express themselves. Everybody wants to live forever. Look at me, I ain't the enemy. Don't believe everything you hear. This is no time to fight each other. What we need. Solidarity. Bless. Yeah, you.
yes, we are growing. We are growing.
Metamorphosis rolling out another edition. Christina Gordon, acknowledge your comments on the Facebook. Here again, give thanks. In our next edition, so we're bringing in a set of females. They've all been lined up and they have been building up their courage to come and pass through the metamorphosis. Some of these women are professionals in the world of art. Some are professionals in the world of go-go. Yes, they are from the Wenty clubs. We shall speak to them and get the insight into the life of black women and the struggle on this plantation to make ends meet. Peace and prosperity unto all who are listening. Rastaman, vibration. Iman Blak. Gone.